I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. Today I wanted to focus a little bit on tempo markings, which is a new thing we're learning on page 57 in our Upper Hands Piano Book 1. At the bottom you see three sort of iconic characters to help us learn the three most common tempo markings that we see in music. Tempo markings are usually at the top of a piece on the top left, and sometimes they change throughout the piece, but they'll always be at the top left of a line. The most common ones that we use are for slow, medium, and fast. So we've got here Elder Einstein to help us remember that Largo is the most common tempo marking for playing slowly. And then we've got Punctual Posty here, who's walks all day, to remind you that Andante is considered a medium walking tempo, the tempo at which we would naturally walk. And then we've got Dashing Dora here to help you remember that Allegro means to play fast. So let's get a little bit more specific about what we mean by Largo, Elder Einstein, Andante, Punctual Posty, and Allegro, Dashing Dora. There's a wide range listed online, and when I was going through different websites looking for the range of how fast or slow each tempo marking is, I found a lot of disparity amongst the websites. So I'm going to give you sort of the general consensus. You can use either an old school metronome, a physical metronome that you wind up, or that's electronic in some way, or you can download an app on your phone or an iPad or whatever your device is. So I have a free one here on my iPad. There's a lot of them in your app stores. So let's talk first about Largo. The slowest Largo tempo listed is 40 beats per minute. Sounds like this. One and two. So I'm going to play a little bit of Largo at this slowest tempo. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. The fastest Largo tempo is generally considered to be 60 beats per minute. So let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. So as you can see, there's a wide range of tempos even for the one tempo marking Largo. Let's go on to Andante. Andante starts at approximately 72 beats, which sounds like this. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. Now that would be a little bit of a slow walk for someone like me, but if you were tall, much taller than me, and had kind of a slower gait than I do, that might be reasonable. And then Andante goes up to approximately 85 beats per minute, which sounds like this. That's probably more like my gait. So that's the fastest marking for Andante. All right, and then Allegro, the fastest one, I've seen span from 118 to 156. So let's see what 118 feels like. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that's at the slow end, and here's the fast end. 156. This is quite a range for Allegro. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't tend to play a lot of pieces at that tempo, as you might imagine. So here's the important thing to know. The most important thing to know about tempos is that you should only play as fast as you can play while keeping a steady beat. If the marking says allegro, as it's going to in a piece coming up in a few more pages called Spring by Vivaldi, if it says allegro, but you can't play it that fast and stay steady, don't use that tempo marking. Just slow it down a little bit. Try it in andante, even try it in largo. Certainly you're going to always start off when you practice playing largo. You're going to play very slowly. And what you want to do is to be able to establish a steady beat as soon as you can at a slow tempo. And then once you start to get the notes better and the rhythm better and you start to really learn it, kind of get it under your fingers and get it in your head, then you can start quickening your tempo a little bit. But never play beyond what your capability is to play it steady. Because the most important thing is that we keep our beat steady. That is going to make the most pleasing music, the music that's great to listen to. We don't want your music to sound halting. And of course, at the beginning when you're learning, it's going to sound halting. You're going to stop and start. But the eventual goal is to be able to play at a steady beat without stopping or hesitating in between. And if that tempo is going to be andante for you, even if the marking is allegro, that's fine. Play it at andante, because the most important thing, as I've said now, probably too many times, is to keep it steady. Keep your beat steady. Okay, so good luck with that. Please watch the videos below, and I will be demonstrating largo and then the piece on the next page, page 58, sonata. And good luck with your exercises, and be sure to do some reviewing this week if you can. Also think about your posture. I want you to remember to keep your back straight. Remember that when your arm is playing, that your wrist should look like this. It should be flat. It shouldn't be up like this when you're playing. And most importantly, it should never fall down like this, because that can cause injury. So we really want your fingers to be gently curved, your wrist to be flat, your back to be straight, your shoulders relaxed and not hunched up, and your feet flat on the floor. Remember, if your feet cannot be flat on the floor, your bench is too close. So push your bench back and sit a little bit further up on the bench. Okay, that's a lot of reminders. So have a great couple of weeks, and I will see you in lesson 18. Bye.